Okay, my name is Bartek Kuczyński. Okay. This is my Twitter. If you would like to contact me, you can do that. At the beginning, one very important information. If you feel that you could be offended by this presentation, please leave now. Yes? Okay. Yeah. And we make it in English because we have guys who doesn't speak Polish. Okay. Who write code in Java 8 in the production? Rest of you Java 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, great. Last good Java, I think. Okay. How we start our story in Java? It's quite common way, especially in every object-oriented language. I think only in there is a rule that say 95% of object-oriented courses start from the take a look at there is objects, yes, cars, animals, humans, yes, and the rest 5% of the courses start PHP is object-oriented language. Yeah. Okay. I teach programming last 1.5 years. Full-time job. Learn people how to code in Java. That was a very bad idea to learn it. To teach them that. Okay, but when I start teaching, then there is two basic rules that we apply at the beginning. Yes, we tell people something about the syntax and then say, okay, dry and keys. Don't repeat yourself. Reuse code because you would like to be a programmer, the engineer. By the way, who is an engineer here? Oh, nice. I'm not an engineer. I'm graduated in the university, so I'm not the engineer. Second rule is a keys. Yes, keep it simple, stupid, because there is on Java courses sometimes there are people from other domains, other language, especially from Python, from Ruby. They go to Corpo and they would like to work in Java. And they try to make a magic, yes, at the beginning. Don't. Keep it simple. And then we go to the YAGNI. So YAGNI, don't need that, yes? Yes. If there is no specification about that, don't write it. Yes? Especially don't write the annotations in your code, if there is no annotation in spec. Okay, next we go to the more complicated rules, because these three rules introduce us solid and design patterns. Yes, don't repeat yourself. Reuse code. If I say something like that, then the natural way is make your code with the single responsibility principle. Yes, if they works in that way, it will be good. It will be really easy to reuse. By the way, design patterns. Who know why we have design patterns? What is the reason of design patterns? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Technically, because we have a very weak language. Yes. And I will show you that. Okay. How to write a singleton in Java? Who knows? This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Yes, I make a technical interview with the guys in the company, with the guys that we would like to get from the market, and ask them, okay, design patterns, blah blah blah. Please describe one singleton. Yeah. By the way, Ratajski has a beautiful signature on the For Programmers forum. I love singletons. Always I create a few of them. Okay, it's simple. Yes, this is a good Java, let's say, after two 3 weeks of learning, you could write something like this. Yes, this is singleton. Then you could try to write this one before Java 5, and that was a magic, yes, and doesn't work, as always. And of course, in the Java 5 we have a enum, yes, and we create the singleton like this. What is wrong with this last version of the code? Okay, if I make something like this, I go to the documentation and I see only a header of this class. I see my singleton, and that could say me, okay, this is a singleton. But I cannot be sure, is it really singleton or is a singleton with many instances, multi-tone, yeah? My language gives me a to define something that has a one instance, but in the same way, I could have a lot of instances. Yeah? So let's try to write the singleton in Scala. How to do that? Object, yeah. Or in Kotlin, how to do that? Object, yeah. Great. This is why we have singleton pattern in Java, yes? We name it. Nobody name it singleton in Scala. It's an object. It's a language construction, syntax, yes? Technically, it's Java because it's compiled to the bytecode, so under the hood, there is a magic, yes? But in the syntax level, on the syntax level, this is an object, yes? Thanks, Odersky, he doesn't use the name singleton here, yeah? Okay, but after that, we learned Java, we go to our first job, and we start to work with the test-driven development. Yes, we discovered writing test after the code is quite good. Some kind of necrophilia, but it's still okay. Yes, and when we see that writing a unit test after the code is a bad idea, let's try to define the test using a BDD tools like Cucumber, like Fitness, and ask our BAs to write this test for us in the form of the documentation, yes? Brilliant solution, yes? Our boss pay us money for writing the code, yes? One of the best way of writing the code is writing a test. And we delegate this writing tests to other people, yes, who has their own job. Brilliant. Money for nothing. Okay, after that, after a few months, this business analytics came to us and start to talk about the specification. We missed some words, some ideas. We introduced that DDD, yes, domain-driven design. Yes, this is a high level. If you, a few years ago, if you go to the conference and you have a DDD talk, you are accepted out of box. Yeah? Okay, how we could, this one, how we could call all those rules? Last chance for leave this room if you feel that I could offend you. Yes, all those rules, all those TDD, BDD, DDD, Yagni, KISS, dry, yeah? Good practices, yes? No. This is the name of that. Okay, let's try to play with the functional programming first time. And this play, we start from something like this, yes? Functional programming, we have a functions, yes? I think in a Pascal we have a function, yes? In Fortran we have a function. In COBOL we don't have functions, we have paragraphs and divisions, but it still works. Is it a Fortran functional language? No. Yes? Even in a PHP we have functions, yes? I saw the book Functional Programming in PHP. Yeah? There is a book like this. Yeah? Okay, we have a function, but we don't have a functional language. We write, I don't know, JavaScript. Eh? Then we discover that for, let's say, ideas is map, filter, flat map, and reduce. Now we have a functional programming in our code, yes? More or less. Java has this lambda expressions, Java has this streams, Java has parts of the functional programming on board because we map, filter, flat map, and reduce. Is it work? No, it's not the rule. Because I could create, open the IntelliJ here, create class dog, and introduce all those 4 functions to the dog, yes? They will map the room, they will filter the food, then will flat map. Okay, let's say they will make a flat map, so the map of our flat, and they will reduce the food. Why not? Naming is just a convention. But idea under this is okay. Yes, in Java it's okay. The functional programming at all, it's not about the naming of the constructs, but about the idea, when to use them, how to use them, and how does it work. Okay, then when we talk about the ideas and some abstract, we have a side effect. Yes, side effects. When I start to write a more functional code, yes, that's the first thing that I recognize in my new coding style. I could identify the side effect. How to identify the side effect? In the very easy way. If you have a method call, go to this method, manually calculate the result, and try to change the call of the method by the result. Yes, if the test passed, there is no side effect in this method. Yes, if there is a side effect, the test should not pass. Especially loggers, printing to the console, connecting to the database, etc. Okay, then we go to the magic, monads, bad word on M. Yeah? Okay, when we have a, who know what is a monad? Who meet that word previously? Great. Who meet the monoid? More abstract thing. Okay, and who meet the comonad? Yeah? This? Nobody. Yeah? Maybe one or 2 people. Yeah? Why? Because we start to learn functional programming, but miss the basement, the math, yes? Category theory. And when I go to the conference like Lambda Days here in Krakow, where we have only functional language, yes, then this is obvious. Yes? For all those people, it's obvious. Why we have monads, how does it work? Yes? There's no this place where you say, I know what is a monad, but I cannot explain. For them, it's obvious, because they have all those mathematical laws around, and they understand these strange arrows around, yes? But if we talk about the category theory, we start to talk about applicatives, level laws, etc., all those functional Kama Sutra, yes? Because it looks strange, especially if you came if you go from the object-oriented language to the functional language, yes? It looks like Kama Sutra. Yeah? Oh, people has so many ants, they could do that. Yeah, it's Kama Sutra. Okay. We need to join these 2 concepts in most languages, yes? In Java, we try to do that in our code. What will happen if we join this object-oriented BSDM with the functional Kama Sutra in one language? Think about that. Or no. The Abraham Lincoln has a very brilliant quote about that, I think. And there is a language that did that. JavaScript. Yeah, they have functions, yes, functions are in JavaScript are first-class citizens, yes, and I think that if you start to write the code in JavaScript in the functional way, it will be a very easy JavaScript. Yes, not something like a brain fuck. Okay, but in a word, we have this brave man who joined all those two concepts in the one language. Do you know which language? Exactly. Yeah? This is Scala. And if you write the code in Scala and you would like to write the functional code in Scala, it's okay. Yes? It's very good language for functional stuff. If you try to write the code in Scala in the object-oriented way, it's still okay. Yes? But if you mix these two concepts, no, it hurts. Yes? It's not because it's hard to do that. It's because you try to apply something that doesn't work. Yes? Especially I love in Scala when people try to use the Scala Z library. Yes? And means that the import order is important. Sorry, it doesn't work. By the way, Scala it's not the best functional language at the world because they work on the EM, yes, and need to compile to this bytecode. So some constructs are pretty tricky. Yeah? Maybe we need the other way to do that. Yes. By the way, if you start to write the functional code in Java, you try to introduce some solutions from functional languages. Yes. So let's take a look for something that is wrong. Yes. Don't do that. How to understand recursion in Java? Yes. Something like this. Factorial, blah blah blah. Factorial recursive. Is it work? Is it okay? Yes. No, it's not okay. To understand recursion in Java, you need to understand how to handle this one. Yes? And this is, by the way, this is example based on something that I saw in the code. Yeah? We had a brilliant guy who comes from C, start to write in Java, but discovered the Haskell and write a recursive code, recursive solution over the 1 million of entities from database. That was nice. Yeah? Okay, what is a solution for this problem? How to write the tail recursion in Java? Trampoline pattern. One more time. So one more time, we need to introduce some kind of the pattern, design pattern, to solve the problem because our language is too weak, not so expressive, not so good to solve the problem in the way that we would like to do that. Okay, so by the way, if we talk about the patterns, let's take a look to the pattern matching. And this is the example from Java code, how this guy introduced a pattern matching to Java. Of course, this the integer, was a field in the class, and based on the value of this field, they run different code. Yeah, pattern matching, yeah? Match to the pattern. Don't do that. Yeah, it's not the solution. Better solution is using a Java slang or waiver. Yes, and write something like this. Do you understand this code? More or less, probably. Yeah? But it's better. Still, we need to introduce new library to do that. But it looks a little bit better. Our language still doesn't have a syntax level solution to solve the pattern matching. Okay. How the pattern matching looks in the Elixir, in example, looks like this. Yes, it's better. It's on syntax level. Yes, I define three functions. I define the words that define me a pattern. Yes, and do something else. I would to see something like this in Java, yes? Maybe in Project Amber. Yeah? Okay, still is something wrong. And before you start writing the functional code in the Java world, let's understand one thing. Do not try to write a purely functional solution in the non-functional programming language. Yes? Do not try to create the functional magic in Java, because you will fail. Take us, if you need a JVM, take a Scala, take a Kotlin, take a Closure, yeah? Something that on the syntax level supports all those constructions. Yes? But if you would like to work with Java, apply the idea of functional programming to your code. Yes? And that happens. This is something happened in my code. I start to apply idea of functional programming to my code. When I talk about the functional programming, what is the first thing that we have back in our heads about the functional programming? Immutability, yes? Use it. Use this in your code, yeah? Of course, it could be hard at the beginning, because how to change the state of the object? How to change the, in example, hibernate entity state if the entity is immutable? Who knows? No, no. You mix. You try to mix that BSD with Kama Sutra in that way. Drop the hibernate. Drop the database. Yeah. Drop database. Use an entity as a module, object. Yes, and persist them in I don't know, in the concurrent hash map. Yes, if you need. There is so many beautiful solutions to do that. If you would like to change the state of this entity, you create just a new object, yes, and persist this new one, and this old one is killed by the garbage collector, yes. Second thing, side effect separation, and this is something that makes our test very easy now, yes, because if I can identify the side effect, then I could separate them, close it, wrap it in some kind of option, either. Grzesiek Piwowarek yesterday has the presentation about how to handle exceptions in the functional way, with all those try, either, optional from waiver, from Java slang, yes? Beautiful, huh? No catch in your code. And this is the next thing that changed in my code. I don't use a try catch in my code. Yeah? And the third thing is a context separation. Context of what we would like to do, and the context of how we would like to do. Yes, and I will talk about this in a few minutes. Okay, in practice, let's start. By the way, we start from this separation of the context. In practice, we go to the business analytics and make them functional guys, because BAs are smart, probably smarter than we, yeah, because they understand the business and understand us. We just understand us, not the business. Yes, so it looks like a business analytics is like an Apple solution for some problems. You need to buy adapter, yes, but they are quite smart. Huh? Okay, and I would like to show you how we change the basis of writing the code, the specifications. First, we start about the verbs, because we would like to identify common parts of our code, yes? Do something, send email, generate report, yes? All those phrases through the whole documentation. Technically, there is not so many phrases like this in your documentation, but why your documentation is 1,000 pieces of paper, I don't know. Then we focus on, we make a generalization of nouns, yes? Not the administrator, not the business analytic, not the client, user. Yes? Simple actor that exists in our system. Then we go to the adjectives, and the adjectives are just the implementation detail. Yes? Who is an administrator in a specification in most cases? Super user, yes? But what is the difference between administrator and another user and common user? Yeah. Other adjectives, yes? They can do that, yes? They have something. They are something little different, yes? They are red, in example, yes? By the way, brilliant example, report. We have entity report, yes? And in our system, we had a lot of reports. Yeah? All those reports are monthly, weekly, daily, yearly, with the specific search conditions, etc. Yes? Over 200 of pages that define as the reports. We reduce that something. Okay. If we start to make this business analytic this way, we reduce the size of the documentation. If there is a shorter documentation, then our code is shorter, yes? Because it works like this. On one side, you have the specification documentation. On the middle, you have a developer with coffee. And on the second end, on the end, you have the working software. Yeah? But if the code is shorter, then the places where you could introduce the bugs, something wrong, I don't know, you don't understand the specification and write something bad, it's smaller, yeah? Okay. If code is shorter, then we could apply all those solid principles very easy. Yes? If you start to apply the idea of functional programming to your code, you will see that if you create the function, let's name it function, this function is just a transformation from one state to another, yes? Single responsibility, yes? Open-close principle. You could just change implementation on the fly, yes? Use another function. It's open to changes, close for the modification. Yes, list of substitution principle. Yeah, I write some kind of the function, some kind of the business logic, and it's slow. I take a JMate, I measure that, I substitute with different. Yes, interface separation. It's beautiful. Yes, now it's easy, because you have a very good definition of beings in your system. And the dependency inversion, it's you don't need to Spring for that, yeah? Okay, what and how? You know, if you have a stream, by the way, if you was on this presentation about the Eric's Java yesterday, yes? There was a brilliant example of that. You just define the flow and put there different how. Yes, you define what to do, and you could change how to do. It's very nice. By the way, if you do something like this, think about the testing. Yeah, you don't need the really fat mocks. If you was on the first presentation of Jarek Pałka, I think. No, on Jarek Ratajski presentation. There was this beautiful example of testing the Mockito. Yes? Okay, any problems with that? Who see problems? Yeah? First problem is performance. And I go to this trap very, very quickly. I cannot find the source of this so functional, so monadic, so slow. Yes? This is a definition of functional programming. Very nice. The performance of, in example, this code in the wave that you show with this pattern matching is, I think, 100 times slower to the very simple calculation than common if ladder. Yes, if you put the if or switch, then this construction is very, very fast. So the functional solutions could be very slow, could make your code slower, but because you could measure that and identify these bad parts, you could very easily optimize them. Yes, it's harder to introduce. You cannot introduce introduce the people to your project written in this way, in the easy way, yeah? Because they need the time to understand why you don't use loops, why you create the streams, how does it work, yes? How you make change of the entity, why you don't have a hibernate, why you don't have a spring, yes? Okay, sometimes you write more code, and one more time, Jarek Ratajski yesterday, they show us how to solve this problem, solve some problems, writing more code, yes? With that transaction, yes? You sometimes need to make stuff manually, yeah? But you make it once. And we need to understand business for that, really, because if you don't understand the business, you will create the math just for fun, just for math, yeah? Not for the business. Okay, props, multi-threading goes easy. Yeah? Now I could utilize my server, yes, creating a new thread. I don't know, create the code that is multi-threaded, very easy to split, yes, very easy to make them parallel. Immutability, nice short functions that doesn't change the state of the object. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this in that way. Yeah, refactorization goes easy. Yes, I just turn off one function, turn on another function. We have a space for the experiments. Yes, because if we could change the code somehow, change the implementation, we could write 5 different solutions, measure them, and pick the best one. Yes, we have a time for that. And of course, we deliver value a little bit faster. Okay, the last thing, that if you try to sell that somehow, to go to your team and say, guys, let's try to apply all those stuff that Ratajski, Pałka explain us on the conferences. Yes, let's drop database, let's drop Spring, and your boss say no, use the ecology argument. Yeah, and now the best example, when we start to applying all those functional principles to the Java code in this, I think, a little bit better way, our client came to us and said, okay, you could write anything in any tool, any language, if only it will be a Java. Yes, it could be a Java 8. It was just after the premiere of Java 8. And they give us a specification. Only one book, 1,000 of pages. Let's imagine that this is something like this. Huh? And we reduce this specification. We start to read them. We make this business analytics in the functional way. We try to identify the common actors, common processes, and we drop this specification. Guess how many pages finally? No, it's not short. So we would like to make them very short, 150. Yes, and when I leave the project, after around 1 year, we finished the implementation of the app, and we are, I think, 2 years before the schedule. Okay, any questions? Because I don't show you a code. Yeah, this is just a philosophy. Any question? Yeah. Yes, yes, but I will say you something, because you don't need to take a book about the category theory. There is a lot of books nowadays. People start to write the books. They feel that this is a gold. Yeah, there is a blog by Bartosz Milewski where they describe whole category theory, point after point after point, in a very nice way. And because is a teacher in I think Lucerna or Geneva or somewhere there. There is on a YouTube on his channel. There are all those lectures from university. Yes, when they talk about the category theory, brilliant stuff because he's talented in teaching. Yes. He write a lot of small funny pigs, a lot of arrows, but you can understand category theory in that way. Yeah, make it just for fun. Yes, honey, why you don't go sleep? Because I read a math book. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. That's all.